Hey guys, it's Justine, and we are back with the new iPad Pro Magic Keyboard. I did a review talking about all of the ways that I've been using the iPad over the past month and how the iPad Pro's Magic Keyboard has helped improve what I have been doing and how excited I was to use it. But after reading the comments, there were so many questions that you guys had that I did not answer at all, that I honestly didn't even think about answering, because a lot of those ways is not how I use the iPad. So thank you guys so much for all of your comments. Hopefully this video will answer all of your questions, and of course if not, there's still a comment section. Leave them there or send me a tweet on Twitter. We now have the white desk back so you guys can actually get a chance to see the keyboard. The first comment was saying I didn't talk about any flaws with this keyboard, but for how I was using it, it was perfectly fine. The first flaw I would see with this, especially if you're someone who does want to write on your iPad or take a lot of notes, in this position right here, it does tend to be a little bit shaky. So if you are doing a lot of note taking or illustrating, I don't think this is the best orientation for this, but if you are doing a lot of typing or any other types of things like that, that's where this really does shine. If you do want to take it off, it's so easy, you just kind of, that's it. I'm ready to illustrate. Let me just show you this actual case itself. So a lot of people were wondering if this is strong. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sturdy. So let me put the iPad back on it. Like it's on there. So yes, the magnets are pretty strong. I enjoyed this thread on Twitter, and I thought I would try out this viewing angle. Let me see how this works. So you flip this over. Okay, so, it's actually not bad at all. I mean, if you want to look ridiculous at a coffee shop, like this is what you could do. Like it's actually working. There's like no bounce at all. 'Cause if you guys remember before, like this is what we were dealing with. But this, I am so glad that you tweeted me this because this is incredible. This is a whole new world. I feel, is that the Little Mermaid? No. A whole new world. It's Aladdin, yeah. Disregard. This also keeps those coffee shop lurkers from seeing what I'm doing. I need to get two more right here. I'd be curious for people who are doing illustration, like what this is like for them. Will the iPad just fall if you tilt it too backwards? I don't know. Well, I mean, yeah, if you push it over. Glad I could be here for the hard-hitting questions. Jeremy is wondering how Apple handles when the cursor is idle for a long period of time. I'm moving the cursor, can you see that? And I'm going to just stop using the cursor. It's right there. And it just disappears. And then when I go back to use the cursor again, oh, it's right where I left it. I wish everything was like that. Does the trackpad feel similar to the Mac Pros? I mean, it does. It's a trackpad. It's the same feel. It's just much smaller. Let's see how big or not big this is. A little under 4 inches wide with a diagonal of 4 and just a little bit over 4. But the feel of it feels just like a normal trackpad. Like it doesn't feel different than using a MacBook. Spencer's asking if the trackpad clicks physically or does it vibrate like the newer MacBooks. It is a click, like an actual click. Like I can see the trackpad moving. And it supports a lot of the same gestures that you're used to on your MacBook. Chris is asking if the bottom part is strong enough to where you can pick up the iPad Magic Keyboard from the edge near the trackpad without the case bending. I don't think so. I mean, it doesn't, no, it's not. It's very sturdy. Which leads me to the weight of this thing. I guess I didn't really think about how heavy this was because I didn't really compare it to anything, and I'm used to having a keyboard case on my iPad. So it already is a little bit heavier. So this is the 2018 iPad with the new keyboard on it. Definitely much lighter. How much lighter? Oh, well, I'm glad you asked because I have a scale here. For some reason, I thought I was gonna need to mail out a lot of packages in this pandemic and I wouldn't know how much my packages weighed. Well, guess what I never needed to do? Mail any packages or need to know the weight of them. But now we can use it to weigh my iPad. So let's start off by weighing the case. 1.09. All right. Let's see how much the other keyboard weighs. 0.14. Oh, that's significantly lighter. Now let's see what it weighs with the whole setup. Look at that, 3 pounds. How much does my MacBook weigh? 4.7. Let's see how much the MacBook Air weighs. 2.14. Oh. So I guess that does answer the question of, yeah, it's definitely got some weight to it. It does feel substantial, but carrying it around, it just feels natural. Like it doesn't feel heavy. But when comparing it to other things, like the Smart Keyboard, yeah, It's definitely heavier. Oh, it's even taller too. Check this out. It looks like it's a little over a ½ inch taller. So this pass-through charging hinge, which is amazing, and I know I mentioned it so many times in my review because it's one of the things that I've been using so much with it. That's what's adding a lot of our extra height and probably some of the weight as well. So yeah, it is a little bit thicker, it is a little heavier, but this is a more premium of a product. So even when you're holding this keyboard up, it feels way flimsier, but it's not as definitely not as sturdy. That is for sure. That actually answers another question that you guys had. Are the magnets stronger on this one than the previous keyboard? So yes, it definitely is. Another question is, if you have a 2018 iPad, is it worth it to do the upgrade to the 2020? Honestly, I don't think so. If you already have this 2018 iPad, I don't think there is a huge need to upgrade. This can do everything that you need to do. This has a faster processor. It does have the LiDAR scanner, so if you are doing a lot in the AR space, then maybe you might want to upgrade. But if you have a perfectly good iPad, there honestly is no reason that you need to upgrade. But you can use both of these keyboards with your previous gen iPad. As you can see here, this is the previous gen from 2018. You'll just have a little cutout where the larger camera is. It is nice that the keyboard is backlit. Let's do a comparison of the brightness of this iPad keyboard compared to the MacBook. Here's the keyboard brightness side by side. The MacBook in person looks a little bit brighter, but on camera they kind of look similar, and the iPad will automatically dim if the screen isn't being touched or active. So you notice when I touched it, the brightness on the keyboard lit back up. You can adjust the brightness with touch controls here on the MacBook keyboard, whereas this is what you get. Whatever it decides the brightness is, that's how bright it is. There's no option to change the keyboard brightness on the Magic Keyboard. I talked about the pass-through charging probably 45 million times in my review because that's what I am most excited about. One of the main questions that I think people were wondering is, can you use this to transfer data much like you can this board? No, this is strictly for charging only. Does it have balance issues on a lap? Does iPad browsing now feel laptop class? I do actually prefer browsing the web on an iPad. The pinch to zoom, I mean, so great. As far as your question about it being stable on your lap, let me go sit somewhere and put it on my lap. Okay, well that's gonna slide off my legs regardless, so yoga pants and a slick surface is not an option. But as far as it being on my lap, so because this is like a more of a grippier surface, it's not sliding off of my pants, but it is a little bit top heavy, so it does feel like it's kind of falling. The MacBook has a whole nother problem because it's sliding off. So both of them have issues with laps. It could be a pants problem. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but I tried my best. Okay, Sebastian wants to know the angle of the keyboard. The screen itself, though, is adjustable between 90 and 130, so I feel like that's a pretty good viewing angle for any type of typing situation, for watching content, and if you want to see how I've been using this, there's so many scenarios that I have in the previous video that I did, so go check that out if you want to see more about the viewing angles and how I've been using this iPad for the last month. The new iPad and keyboard is a few $100 cheaper than the new MacBook Air. Don't you think it's better to get the Air than the iPad and keyboard? And honestly, this is something that I can't answer. This is something that you have to sort of answer for yourself. What are you going to be doing most? This also ties into Jacqueline's question, who is asking if students entering college or already in college, what would be your recommendation, an iPad or a MacBook? I almost want to say I think that you should get a MacBook just because you don't know what software you're going to need for school. There's a lot of unexpectedness. I feel like you could definitely get away with an iPad depending what your major is. So I don't want to tell you either way what you should or shouldn't get. If I were to choose over an iPad or a MacBook, I myself would have to get a MacBook because there's a lot of video editing software, a lot of plugins, a lot of things that I need that computer for that this iPad can't do. But could I survive just with this iPad if that's all I had? Yeah, I most definitely could. Let's talk about the keyboard itself. How does it type? It's weird because I didn't really mention it that much in the review because it just feels like a normal MacBook keyboard. I said that. I didn't think that I had to elaborate more on it. Feels just like the Magic Keyboard that's on the MacBooks right now. Other than the larger trackpad, this keyboard feels almost identical. This has a 1mm travel distance. They both almost even sound the same. I think if you blindfolded me and just let me touch a few keys, I might not even be able to tell the difference. I mean, I might be able to, but then I also might not be able to. So I hope that this answered some of your questions, but for me personally, most of you were saying, Justine, that seemed to be a glorified iPad stand for you. Well, yes, that is true, but for the way that I've been using this iPad, this has completely transformed the way that I have been using it. It's been making things way easier, and now having a full keyboard with the trackpad, that makes editing so much easier. I know I've mentioned it so many times, but the pass-through charging is so key, especially if you're doing things where you need to have access to this USB-C port and also charge at the same time. So with that being said, I freaking love this. Yes, it's a little bit expensive, but if this is going to be something that you are spending a lot of time with, the ease of use, the functionality, and this viewing angle, I don't know, it's worth it. I was really hoping that would have just stuck right on there. Yes. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, bye.